Why do some people sound so sure, even when they are still figuring things out? You've probably noticed it in conversations, online comments, or even in yourself. A strong opinion spoken with confidence sometimes arrives before deep understanding. And it can feel surprising when you pause and really think about it. This is something many people overlook. There's a pattern here, one that shows up quietly in everyday life. It's often called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. Some people link it to researchers David Dunning and Justin Kruger. But you don't need the names to notice the pattern. It's simply about how confidence and knowledge can move at different speeds. Sometimes confidence rises quickly, while understanding takes a little longer to catch up. And this isn't about other people. It's something most of us experience at different moments. Think about the first time you learned something new. Maybe it was cooking or driving or using a new app. At the beginning, things can feel surprisingly clear. You grasp a few basics and suddenly it feels like you get it. There's a light sense of certainty, a quiet belief that you've figured it out. And this is where it becomes interesting, because that early clarity can feel very convincing, even if it's only part of the picture. It's not wrong, it's just incomplete. But it doesn't feel incomplete yet. It feels solid. This is something many people overlook. Early understanding often feels more complete than it actually is. And that feeling can bring confidence along with it. Not as arrogance, but as a natural response. You've learned something, so of course you feel capable. That's a very human reaction. But there's something deeper happening. At the early stage, you don't yet see what you don't know. The gaps are still invisible. So your mind fills in the space with certainty. Not intentionally, just quietly. It's like looking at a map with only a few roads drawn. It looks simple because the missing details aren't shown. And because they aren't shown, they don't feel important yet. So confidence grows on that simplified picture. And again, this isn't a flaw. It's part of how learning begins. You need some confidence to keep going. Without it, you might stop before you start. But over time, something shifts. You begin to see more. More details, more exceptions, more complexity. And suddenly, the map expands. What once felt simple starts to feel layered. And sometimes, even a bit overwhelming. This is something many people overlook. As knowledge grows, confidence can actually dip. Not because you're less capable, but because you're seeing more clearly. You're noticing the edges, the uncertainties, the unknowns. And that awareness changes how you speak. You may pause more. You may say, I think instead of I know. You may listen longer before responding. And from the outside, this can look like less confidence. But inside, it's often deeper understanding. And this is where it becomes interesting. Confidence and knowledge don't always rise together. Sometimes they move in opposite directions. At least for a while. Early on, confidence can be high and smooth. Later, it becomes more thoughtful, more careful. And that shift can feel uncomfortable. Because certainty is comforting. And uncertainty asks for patience. But there's something deeper happening. That uncertainty is often a sign of growth. It means you're seeing beyond the surface. You're noticing what's complex, not just what's obvious. And that changes how you relate to knowledge itself. You stop chasing quick answers and start appreciating better questions. This is something many people overlook. The goal isn't to feel certain all the time. It's to understand more clearly over time. And clarity often includes uncertainty. Think about conversations you've had. Sometimes the most confident voice isn't the most informed one. And sometimes the quietest voice has thought the longest. But it's not always easy to tell. Because confidence has a certain presence. It sounds complete. It feels steady. And our brains are naturally drawn to that. We tend to trust certainty, even when it's only partial. And this is where it becomes interesting. Confidence can influence perception. Not just in others, but in ourselves too. If we feel certain, we may stop questioning. We may stop exploring. We may assume we've arrived. But there's something deeper happening. Learning doesn't really have an arrival point. It keeps unfolding. Each layer reveals another layer. Each answer opens new questions. And the more you see, the more you realize there is to see. This is something many people overlook. Awareness of limits is not weakness. It's a kind of clarity, a quiet honesty with yourself. And that honesty changes how you grow. You become more curious, more open, more willing to adjust your thinking, instead of defending it. And this doesn't mean losing confidence. It means reshaping it. From certainty to curiosity. From quick answers to deeper understanding. And this is where it becomes interesting. You can still feel confident, but in a different way. Not in knowing everything, but in your ability to keep learning. That kind of confidence is quieter, but often more grounded. It doesn't rush. It doesn't need to prove itself. It simply keeps moving forward. And this is something many people overlook. Growth isn't just about adding knowledge. It's also about changing how you see what you know, and how you see what you don't know. Because both matter, and both shape how you move through the world. So when you notice confidence in yourself or others, pause for a moment. Not to judge it, but to understand it. Ask gently what might be visible here, and what might still be unseen. That question alone can shift your perspective. It creates space. Space for reflection, space for growth, and space for more thoughtful conversations. Because in the end, this isn't about labeling people. It's about recognizing a pattern we all move through. At different times in different ways. Sometimes we feel certain early. Sometimes we feel unsure later. Both are part of the same journey. And neither defines us. They just show where we are in the process. And that process is always changing. Always evolving. Always opening new paths. So maybe the question isn't who is right, but rather what am I still learning here? And that small shift can make a big difference. It softens the edges of certainty and invites something more flexible, more human, more real. Because sometimes the more we learn, the more we begin to see just how much there is still to understand.